Go. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Should have let me do it.
I should have let Nadine do it. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming in. I know it's meant to be chat with Jackson Scott, but Jax is unfortunately not feeling too well tonight, so we hope she gets better very, very shortly. So Nadine decided to try and steal the limelight and come in and say hello to people. But we have got our good friend Tim from Goosey UK back. We've not seen him since I think we can
Hello.
And he's frozen. There we go. You were like that.
I'll let you two chat away. Carry on.
Sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
You want to say the pen of power? No. As the Jax as they feeling too well, we hope she gets better very soon. As I say, Nadine decided to come in because she said, I want on, you know.
Oh, right, yeah, that's totally what happened. He didn't send me a message or anything saying, oh, do you want to join the panel?
On a good note, as anybody's been watching our live since December will know I had a bit of a denture incident beginning of December. I'm happy to report it has now been fixed. I've been smiling at everybody all day. I lost my teeth beginning of December, and so I've been gumming everything for about 8 weeks. And I finally got a replacement today. So there you go. Yes, Jem, new teeth. Good. I'll send you a photograph. Don't worry. So welcome back, Tim. I'm not going to say welcome back because we talked last week. How you been? How was your Christmas and New Year? Because I've not seen you since 2021. What happened to your Christmas and New Year?
Well, the norm as it is, eating and drinking. That's about it. we have a break over Christmas, so we don't do much unless it's an emergency. You know, pardon?
Was it more drinking than eating, or more eating than drinking?
Not too much, not crazy, not like the young days. Yeah, just I think just a quiet family Christmas really. That's what we normally do. Nothing adventurous. And then you get the get out investigating, getting the team out investigating again, which we did. But yeah, that's the quiet Christmas really. I didn't get no paranormal equipment this year. That's on a freeze. So apparently I got more equipment than NASA, so I don't need no more.
All right, so you've got even more stuff now. You've got even more stuff now.
No, we got too much. I keep saying they got too much equipment. You don't need all the equipment. It's nice to have it, but you don't need to use it all. So it depends what the situation is. Whether you'll take a certain thing, like if you've got we've got laser beams that crosses the doorways and stuff. Some locations you don't need them. You know, there was nothing mentioned about anything coming through a doorway or anything, so you don't need them. Things like that, you know, we're too much, and we'll try all different equipment anyway. Because some of it's good, some of it's just rubbish. You know, we have got bought a load of rubbish.
Which ones are rubbish in your opinion? Which ones are rubbish in your opinion?
Oh, I think some of these sensors, for instance, you can get, you get all different ones. And they get triggered by anything, like a phone signal from somewhere, or a surge in electrical can set them off. things like that. So it's difficult to say. I mean, I used to love the K2 meter. I thought it was amazing until I found that any phone within a mile distance will set it off, or even a light from a camera or something like that set it off.
Wow.
And if you put two K2 meters close to each other, they'll set them off. We've found that, and yeah, it's difficult to say. I mean, some stuff seemed to work, some stuff doesn't. I'll try to think of which is. I bought some meters that are supposed to be good, like some of the alarms you get, the like house alarms, they're like that. They send a massive siren, so if there's a big location, you can put them, spread them out a bit, but they can be a pain in the ass because the thing is, if you walk past near one by accident, that goes off, and then someone's hidden up the button to switch it off. So that's just deafened the whole area. Everyone thinks it's a bloody nuclear strike or something because there's alarms around. And then they'll jump out of the skin and fall over. They can be okay, but you don't need them. I mean, you imagine doing a house investigation in a quiet area and that goes off at like 1 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to impress meters. So we don't take them on private ones. So just we don't want to wake the whole neighbourhood up at early hours of the morning. Things like that. That they're quite. If you're outside in the place where you're middle of nowhere, yeah, you can use them, but not often you do a place where in the middle of nowhere. Not really. Yeah, then they're not taking that much. Some EVP recorders we got are pretty rubbish as well. The playback on them is rubbish. They don't seem to pick anything up. There's a lot of rubbish out there, trust me. Certain sorry?
I think we'd be better we'd be quicker asking you what you do like.
Oh, yeah. True, yeah.
I
like the REM pods. Yeah,
Just
I like
the
the
REM
REM pods. I like the Sony.
Just the REM pods.
REM pods. The Sony recorders are good. Sony are good for them. Especially the old ones are not too old because they're not USB converted. So, I mean, you want ones with USB really, because you can plug them into your laptop. Some of the old ones are like plug in and messing around them. So I mean, some of the old Sony handy cams are pretty rubbish because the quality on them are pretty poor now. Outdated. You've only got to watch something like some of the TV shows at one time years ago when they were showing the. But you can see nothing. The quality was terrible. They were like, and they got because we use night vision on a lot of stuff. They just want complete darkness, which we like. So you need a good quality. Some of the Sony cams I use because the quality is really good. As long as you've got a couple of the normal IR light ones, they're built in. But I use next like a couple of or 1 or 2 IR lights on top of that, just went up even more. They're really good. I like the REM pods. They're good. In trouble with them, you got to watch your battery drain because they will trigger like they're going off, but they're not. That's the battery draining because the battery's draining, they'll trigger. So you have to keep testing them, make sure they're working all night. The EDI machine's good. That's another good machine because that records that you can put that in one of the rooms and leave it in there all night, and then you can get all the data off because that records everything: temperature, air pressure, humidity. It's got like EMF type readings on it that can record, and yeah, that's a good machine. So EDI Plus, that's called. They're not cheap either. You can put one in each room, and that record any information on that, on memory stick. You take that out and go through the computer, and that'll tell you exactly what time anything happened. Like there was a massive temperature drop, that'll tell you. They're really good. I like them because
It's like
that's a bit more than each.
it's like
Pardon?
they're not cheap, but I've got 10. You put one in
Yeah.
every room.
Yeah, it's one you can 10, but they're good to plant somewhere where something's happened, because a lot of things in my experience, you would be in one room and think this is really active, this room, but nothing happens. While you're in there, another room down the corridor will be active, and you can hear things and the other end, and as soon as you go in that room, that'll go the other room again. Well, they don't want me in here, obviously, but at least you can leave the equipment running. Sometimes we're not even in a location. We'll go outside or out down a cafe or a pub or something, sitting there for half an hour, and then go back and see what we picked up, anything that's recorded. If it's quiet, some activity happens when they don't want you to be there, I think. It depends. That's the thing about paranormal. You never know what's going to happen, if anything, and you've got to be ready for the unexpected. Normally freezing cold, bored, and want to go home. No, that's Andrew's. He's only asleep by 10 o'clock.
Sorry? That's part of the fun. I mean, leaving cameras, and we're going to the Ivy House on the 4th of March, and we got another 2 cameras yesterday cut to GSI. So what we are planning to do is, we've not done an investigation before, we're going to set up some locked off cameras in 1 or 2 of the rooms and just leave them running. And
yeah, that's the good thing about it. If you speak to, the people who've done like investigations years ago, 70s, 80s, say, even beyond that, there was nothing to do with, they didn't do live, haunts or anything like that. It was all about leaving cameras there. We put them on a tripod, leave them somewhere where apparently it's active or something seen, and just leave them running, and hopefully you're hoping to catch something paranormal. I mean, some teams then 6 or 7, 8, 10 cameras running in each room, so they capture. The only thing is that there was something happens, and you find out that you really needed the camera the other side of the room as well, pointing the other direction, because though you're seeing something in the corner, you might have seen something better in the other corner. Oh, I need another camera now. And that's if it's a certain case, we use the CCTV then come into play for us, because we can put as many cameras we want everywhere and monitor everything. Which plus the other cameras, everything is recorded, which is good. That's what.
See, when you've left your locked off cameras in different rooms, have you ever had any just turn themselves off? This has happened to us twice, 2 separate locations. Our cameras have just turned themselves off for no reason. Have you ever had that?
I had them turn off on. Yeah, I've seen them turn off when people are holding them, and they just went zoop, off they go. And the full battery in them has not been, switched off or nothing, not been caught or anything like that. Because they're on a proper camera holder, so you'd have to actually go to the button and push it to switch it off. Just zoop, shut down the whole camera for no reason, powered off. And that's a once in a blue moon they do it. So you can debunk that as a faulty camera, because if it's a faulty camera, keep doing it. If the battery's low, that'll shut off. But they're like near enough full batteries. That's a big thing in investigations. That always happen. I've been on somewhere years ago where they were filming something for YouTube, some kind of YouTube channel, and they come on, and he took three Canon camera, 3 batteries, this Canon, last 3 or 4 hours, whatever, and all 3 batteries packed up within 5 minutes of filming.
Yeah,
And he's never, and all the time he's at it. Yeah, it's never happened before, you know. It's like odd, you know. So we didn't get
Was
much
it
filming done.
Was it cold at the time?
Pardon?
Was it cold?
No, that was a summer evening, cold
Right.
at all, you know. But yeah, it's not nothing that weren't cold. But it's never happened to him before, and he's a bit of a professional cameraman, so it's never happened before. And he was like, and I said that's nothing unusual. That is, because he's never done a season or nothing like that.
We done Greyfriars months and months ago. We had 2 full batteries, and both of them drained within about 15 minutes each other. And that was it. And it was cold, you know. We'd been up at the castle before. We went to Greyfriars, and I was standing just with a t-shirt on, which is very unusual in Scotland and Edinburgh at night time. So it wasn't cold or anything. And we went to Greyfriars, and it was like 15 minutes. Battery was done. We put in the other one, and roughly at the same time, battery was done. And so, you know.
Yeah, I normally use the longer life batteries, which are the bigger ones, thick batteries. So the ones you normally get with really tiny little batteries, you do about 2 hours maybe, but the bigger ones last about 4 hours, and you can get them last 20 minutes. It's rare, doesn't always happen, but they can drain like that in 20 minutes. And they're checked and charged, like triple checked and charged before they go out. Because you want to get on the location and find your batteries are dead before you start. Because you'd end up going back again, you know, you're not recording anything. So they are checked. But over time, batteries do last as long. So after about maybe 2 years or so, you probably have to end up replacing your batteries anyway, because they wouldn't last as much, you know. They're not, especially nowadays, you know. You try and get the original batteries, so I'm going to say too much. If you get the original batteries, they're better, but they're more expensive. If you get the cloned batteries, which is genuine, you know, you can sell them. You can buy them, whatever, but they don't seem to last so much as the genuine battery. If you get so genuine, they last longer, I think. But more because they're expensive. I think 40 quid a battery, 45 quid a battery.
It's happened to us with our laser pen, with our K2. It's happened to us with even, you know, our smaller gadgets, the battery drains. And I know a lot of people say it's a faulty battery or it's a faulty camera, you know, or, you know, whatever. But it's a common thing I find all through the paranormal teams, not just in the UK, but everywhere else, of batteries draining all the time. You know, I know you can put it down to, or it was a cold night, or, you know, it's a crap battery, whatever, but to me, it happens too often for it to be blamed on faulty equipment.
Yeah, it's definitely even some of the TV crews. What, you know, I've been to locations and not even paranormal. They're filming for something else, and they suddenly get back jumping movies, and that's not even a paranormal show or anything. And they've had batteries drained for some strange reason. There's something that's like complete draining the battery, but there's nothing powered on, you know, the sort of things like that. And they know not faulty batteries because they're working fine. We've had equipment not work all night, and like I said to Andrew, you take it home and check it in the morning, that'll work. Check it in the morning, it's working fine. It's like, why did it not work on the night? You know, just thought it's broken. Some equipment, and you got it home, it's working fine.
Yeah.
I've got people with their mobile phones will go into a location and the phone will not work, but as soon as they step outside, it'll start working again.
Yes.
Is that signal though?
No, the phone just
Stop.
turned on. Or,
Yeah, I've had my phone crash before.
Yes.
But the camera one, to me, when you were saying, Tim, about, you know, the person that was that happened to me. I was holding the camera on our last investigation, and it's no easy to. You can't turn it after the accident. I'm getting a camera in case you wonder what I'm doing, just to show you. You know.
I thought you were grabbing the crisps.
No, we're on diets. We are on diets. We have been on a diet for about 4 weeks now or something. And our Chris, and I tell you, I had a packet of Chris the other night, but shh, you're allowed to be cheap now and again, you know, don't tell anybody. And no, folks, not a cooking show or nothing, it's just diets. You know, I think everybody talks about diets. You know, I think it's a thing, you get Christmas and New Year and then diet. January seems to be, the whole country goes in a diet, you know. But, no, it's good. So I was holding the camera like that, and the old knock buttons at the back, obviously. And twice it happened. The battery was near enough full, and it just came up bye-bye. And I never touched the on knock button. Twice it just came up bye-bye. And then after I turned it off the third time, it was totally fine. You know, for some reason that was making
yeah, I mean, I think you know the more you use it, the more, because God knows, you know, we use, we know what faults of it's gonna. But when it suddenly your camera's switched off, or sometimes the cameras, we've got normal cameras that take pictures, and you know, we've had them just shut down for no reason, or that wouldn't, or they're on and you can't take a picture. You're pressing the button for the picture, and it just wouldn't work. We've had that not long ago, actually, the other week. They would not press pressing the button and it wouldn't take the photo. There's no reason why it wouldn't. It's not faulty. And then you come downstairs to another room and you go, right, I'll take a picture. And that works fine. But you go to another area and that wouldn't. And I've had like loads of witnesses to that as well, not just on my own, and just said, and they witnessed at me trying to get this camera to take a picture. And eventually I said, oh, I better ask. Okay. So I asked permission. And I pressed the button and it went straight away. But it's like, yeah, it's a good story to that one. Pardon?
The weirdest thing I've had happen is I was at Caldwell, and a couple of times I was trying to go live, and the signal inside the building's crap. But if you stood in the wee sort of entrance bit, it's not that big. You stood there, you get a good signal. But it seemed that every time I tried to go live there, the camera and the phone would flip back and forward. I only done it there. I never done it anywhere else, and it's never done it since. I was in. Now that happened 3 or 4 different occasions, and that same spot, the camera was flipped back and forward and back and forward. And I'd take 5 steps outside, and the camera would be totally fine.
I had the similar thing when I was doing Easby Abbey. I'd just got the brand new Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. At the time, it was a brand new one, best camera, yada, yada, yada. We were taking pictures all over, and in one spot, only one specific spot, my camera was going, like, it just wouldn't take the picture whatsoever. So I've had the same thing. Also with my Canon, I was at there's a place called Forbidden Corner, I want to say. It's like a place where you could take your kids and go around the forest. And there's an inside bit, and just for some reason it would not take pictures at all in there.
Was that near Ness?
No.
I couldn't resist that.
I say you know your equipment, so you know you personally that what's faulty, if why probably maybe I didn't charge enough of the battery. You know you charge your batteries. You know you check them, and then for an instant drain like that's the strangest thing. And people say, like you say, as energy, the spirit's using it. which after experience things like that, I quite believe that is something draining your batteries. I really do. There's definitely something going on because it can't be just coincidence every time, you know. And they can't understand if you've not got faulty equipment and your equipment's working fine, like your cameras, and they just shut off for no reason. Again, it's something not of this world, is it? Because it doesn't make sense. You can sit there dumbfounded about it and try and work out as much as you want, but it's happened, and you can't explain it. You know, what I could take a picture in every other room of a building, but you go in one specific room, it would not take a picture. The lighting's the same in there. Certain effect. I know some cameras, if it's too dark, that will not fire up and take a picture. But I've taken pictures in pitch black, so there, you know, there's no explanation for it. And then after everyone trying, not just me, everyone, 15 people trying the same camera, trying to take a picture. Everyone was trying it because it's to prove that I ain't messed around with the camera. I've got a little secret button on it or something to stop people taking it. So they've had a go at it, and they're going, no. And I said, right, and I thought, well, I know what I'm doing, I'm going to ask. So I asked, pressed the button, flash, work, fine. It is the most weirdest thing ever. And there was a story to it as well. Sorry?
What's the story?
Oh, that was the person. We believe that person who was there is years ago. It was the local photographer, and we got his name and his first name, second name actually, with the ghosted box. And he was a local photographer, and he would be taking pictures around the area and probably in the building even, but at one point maybe. And he was connected to the building, I think, in one way. And once in a blue moon, the museum has a little plaque up with people with interest of the area and what their occupation was. Well, later on, we were looking through we didn't even know it was there, and the manager didn't mention it till later. So we were looking through it after we got this photographer, Johnson. And we're going through the names, and there's a photographer called Johnson. I can't remember, is it Joe? Can't remember his name. John Johnson. And that's a local photographer, John Johnson. We're like, what? No way. So we got the name before we saw that plaque. Then he put it up once in the blue moon. That's not there all the time. So that was a bit of strange. When I asked at the top there, can I have permission and to take a picture, that would take a picture. But when before I didn't ask, that would not take a picture for a good hour or two. Okay. Full battery from all that, you know, plenty of space on it.
I'm really thinking,
so that's weird.
If I spent just the one day, you know, photographed or whatever, or it might sound stupid, it might sound totally stupid, but you know, if somebody was private in the physical life, they're going to be private in the spirit life, and if somebody comes in with a camera, they're not going to want the picture taken. Or does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
You know, for example, last year again we done Caldwell, and one of the investigations we set up a locked off camera on a tripod in the corner and just pressed, you know, record. The next day I was going through the footage and it cut off after 6.5 minutes. Now the battery was like 3/4 full and nobody was near the camera. It just sat in the corners itself. And I started thinking, we got a lot of activity that night. And I started thinking, well, around about the 7 or 8 minute was when we started getting, you know, like K2 going off and voices and stuff. And there's that. What I hate that word coincidence. See when somebody says, "Well, it's a coincidence." I don't think there is any such thing the paranormal as a coincidence. You know, like you're saying battery drainage, cameras not working. There's too much that happens. But I start to think, well, maybe there was a spirit there that didn't want, you know, that was planning on, you know, starting stuff, but
Yes.
no one that filmed. Does that make sense?
We have, yeah, we got one location where when we invested, I prefer not to use hardly any equipment, it's a bit in the wind, and I don't particularly like to use equipment because when we do use equipment, it doesn't seem to catch much, and it's very active. It doesn't seem active anyway. But when we don't use any equipment, I mean everything switched off, cameras, everything, we get more activity. So it's like I feel like they just don't like the cameras, don't want to be recorded, don't know what that is, whatever. So we find that some locations, if it's not active, it don't feel as active. Switch thing off, don't have nothing on. Not a thing. I just sit there talking amongst yourselves, and then, but listen out, obviously looking around, listening out, it can be more active that, and then actually rolling everything now, everything switched on.
Yeah.
That's why I suggest people to try. Actually, I know if you catch something amazing bad, or you see something, or hear, wish the camera on, but it's surprising now, and even on your own, if you go split up, if you've got a team, split up on your own, and just sit and observe on your own, nothing switched on, nothing pitch black, and just sit there. Obviously, your eyes will adjust the light anyway. I'm not saying you can't see anything. It's amazing how active it's certain. Then that can pinpoint if your team split up individually in each room. If like a house, whatever, you'll find that one room might be more active. You might hear and see. Then you can maybe pinpoint your investigation in that room because you can feel, or see or hear something going on in that room, where others might not hear nothing in their room. So the pinpoint them possibly is to further your investigation. But it don't mean you have to have equipment on.
See, I think with the paranormal,
that means you can investigate with nothing.
It's the fear of like not rolling your camera and missing something. I think people get very anxious that they, if I don't set up the camera, then what if I miss something big? I think that's one of the main reasons people don't just sit in the quiet and do things because.
Well, that's like going out your mobile. It's like, it'd be like, I can't see your messages. I just pop.
I've got a question for you, Tim, but before I come out, just what you're saying about no turning cameras and that. When we done an investigation, well, it wasn't meant to be an investigation. We went to one place last year and we hardly get entered. So there was a castle next to it, about 200-300 yards away. Laura was in the chat, she was there. And for some reason, we didn't record it, we didn't film it. But the activity we got was, the K2 was going up to red on demand. 4 or 5 of the people that were there saw this, as he described, a great kind of white mist shape came by what used to be a window. And the cat ball never grew off, and it was really an active investigation. But we never filmed it. Don't ask me why, just one of these things. But then I wondered if we had the camera running, would we get the same level of activity? And spirits within paranormal. We've got a question there.
Yeah.
Good question. Do you think there's a spiritual law they abide by not to be captured or seen, but sometimes this is broken by
I don't. It'd be nice to think there is a spirit, some sort of spiritual law. I mean, that you can only see so much, and they'll allow you so much, and then you're not allowed to cross that line. I've always thought that, but I really didn't know. I mean, I think I just noticed certain places you go to, sometimes if you switch everything off, it's more active than if you got everything rolling. It's a weird thing until you experience it. I wish I had the camera now, but as soon as you get switch your camera on, that go quiet again, and you think sugar. So it just makes you think maybe they don't want to be seen. It could be an individual thing where each person don't want to, camera shy, don't want to be filmed, or it might not be it might be just an individual person who haunts that place or visiting or whatever, and be thinking, no, I'm camera shy. I don't go. No, but there probably is a law on it. I would have thought there must be some sort of spiritual law. I would have thought, because, but then again, is everyone going to be? Look, the evidence we captured, and stuff. But do everyone believe it? Definitely not. I think Richard Felix pointed that out, didn't he? Are we ready to know? He always says that. Are we ready to know the truth?
What were you, Nadine?
I was just going to ask Tim. 1 second, I'll get back to that. Do you think that it could, or is it possibly the electromagnetic field giving off by all these devices disturbing their electromagnetic field and making it harder for them to actually come through?
Yeah, you got that part. Yeah, I mean, if there's too much, and is it too much? It could distort the energy there. If you got all these and especially when they use EMF pumps, to draw the energy. This will create the energy. Well, why would you want to create energy when you already got the energy there?
Yeah. How do you know it dissipate the energy?
We've all got our own energy. It could destroy, it could burn it, and you'll get false readings. So yeah, I think you've got to do it. I think naturally sometimes. I think investigating naturally and have nothing. Unfortunately, you catch something. If something's amazing, but it's not always the case. I mean, if we didn't have the cameras we've had and leave them, I think if we'd have been there, maybe we wouldn't have caught nothing. But leaving, we had a place where they kept seeing shadow figures upstairs at hairdressers, and they wanted us to investigate it. And she said, I thought I was going nuts, I keep seeing these shadow figures. But, we ran the CCTV and recorded that most of the night and checked it later. And luckily, amazingly, we caught the shadow figure all across the door. And it wasn't. We couldn't debunk it. Well, we didn't. I like to try and debunk things as if someone walking past, or walk past or something. Nothing. There was nothing there. So that proved to her, not just us, proved to her that there was this dark shadow. We never get no further than what it was. We believe that was a monk. That's what we thought it was, because we'd in contact with a monk earlier. But there's no guarantee of that. That's the thing about paranormal. There's no guarantees of anything. You're nothing guaranteed to any evidence, any. There's nothing to guarantee that you're going to capture anything.
No, that's the thing I like about it. Jumping back, have you said, Nadine, would you about spirits within was saying about the spiritual law?
I'm not sure on laws. I mean, I guess we'll find out one day, maybe not. But I feel it's probably more that spirits need energy to manifest and to do these things, and some of them just don't have that amount of energy there. Either it's been drained through time, or it's been overdrained by, as we were discussing before, in like hospitals, people coming and asking for certain spirits, and it's just their energy is just over time been drained off. I mean, because if you would count how many actual full apparitions have ever been caught, like full, like undeniable, full-bodied apparition, it's not many. So in my thoughts, it's probably more to do with the energy and the environment. It has to be like the perfect storm for that to happen. So I don't think there would be laws. It'd be nice to think that after we pass this something, there's a community kind of thing where you have to. But in my opinion, I think it's probably more to do with the environmental situation than any rules or laws, if that makes sense.
Maybe something might say
Yeah.
maybe a code or something like that. But go on,
just going to say that there was a thing. There was a story about. I've known a few that have had what they call ghost sickness, and if you've seen the movie White Noise, I know it's a movie, it's make believe, whatever, but there's some interest in it because on the real scale, not the fake scale, right, that you can get like ghost sickness where you become too much into something, and if you go too much and you can be ill. And I've spoken to mediums and investigators in the past, whatever, and people have been seriously ill, and they get blamed on not mainly an attachment, because they get attachments apparently and bits like that, but I mean because maybe they were probing too much. Their theory was they're probing too much into something that they weren't meant to be there. And you get too much, and they started being ill from it. So he said to stop them. I've been an investigator who I can't remember his bloody name now. He was a full-on doing EVPs, white noise, just white noise sound to see if you could pick any voices for the white noise. That's what he used to use. And he used to get some good results from it, but he was constantly doing it all the time, and he disappeared off the he vanished from the paranormal world because apparently he reckoned he was probing too much.
Do you think maybe he drove himself a little bit insane doing it?
Oh yeah, I think you can if you do too much. I mean. And go too far. If you do, so I know some people do it 7 nights a week, right? To me, that's going too far, right? Yeah. Because if you're probing around into that 7 nights a week, next minute your brain is going to start thinking you're seeing something. You're going to start thinking you heard something, and then you get the paranoia of we've all been there. I've done it. I thought I heard something, and at the end of the next day, I thought my bloody imagination's gone wild. It's getting too much.
Yeah, you're retuning your brain to be oversensitive to things.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Then everything. That's the same when I said about mediums and paranormal investigators. You got to be careful. If you're a medium, you believe in spirit. So that means that could be not all of them, but it could be that when you investigate, you think everything's a spirit. Because that's your faith now, that's your belief. If you believe everything's a spirit, then when you do investigation, you're going to think everything's linked, and there's the names linked to everything, and you can go. I worked with people before who was like that, and so I know how it goes, and that's easy done. It suck you in like a I don't know, whatever the word is, suck you in.
It's like any addiction, really, isn't it? They get a little taste, and then they get, I want more, kind of thing. Yeah.
I've got in the early years, I sort of got sucked into it in a bit, and I tell you, there must be some ghost down there, blah blah blah, and it probably wasn't. Until you start working, you've got to deep up the room before you even start. Electrics and. Is there a hole where is there a cat walking around in there? Or you got to make sure everything's clear, and then if you capture something, then you can definitely say, it's a spirit. I mean, I'm not knocking lives. Don't get me wrong. I think I did last time. But you got to be careful. When you use that mobile phone live in front of your equipment, it will trigger off. You guarantee it. No matter how far you are from it, you can be 10 meters away. That can trigger your devices. I've seen people with a table with 20 devices on, EMFs, this something, there's a bear on there, an EMF bear, and that's all piled stacked high like this. And they got their light, they're going up to the camera, going, we'll see if we're capturing. And then suddenly start flashing, and then another one start going like, ooh, there's Mary coming through. Blah. It's bloody every time I ship bloody phone. It's not a spirit, it's a bloody phone setting it off. And I mean, me and Andrew have tested many things like that. When you got your equipment separated, keep a distance.
Yeah.
Good 10 meters away from each other. You know,
this is
don't
the
pile them
thing
together.
the investigators need to learn as they're going along as well, or they need to be told, because a lot of people wouldn't even think about it. You know, I've done it before, you know, where the things have gone off together and not even realized that is exactly what's happening. But to you, when you're new and you don't know or understand your devices properly, or electromagnetic fields or whatever properly, you know, people do make the mistakes, and it's lack of knowing.
Oh, it's frustrating. I mean, it's when I see it, oh God, here we go. Andrew would tell you the same. He's good God, you know Andrew, right? Paranormal investigator for God knows how many years, and he was at the beginning of all this when they started doing investigations. You know, like the Harry Prices, the I can't remember what the other one went up, the Enfield, you know, I mean, called fake and all things, you know, but they were some of the leading investigators at the time, you know. People moan about a load of rubbish and stuff like that, but they were there when it started, you know. And the thing is, it weren't too bad then, because you didn't have the Wi-Fi, number one. You didn't have live cameras stuck in the face of the equipment. And but you still had pylons, you know, the big electric thing. There's still big pylons and stuff, and sometimes phone cables and stuff. But they could still cause. Andrew used to check them, go to a property, and the first thing he'd look for was pylons or the old telephone cables, you know, on the old poles. They will just mess around with your equipment. You'll get spikes like the tomorrow. So you couldn't even start doing an investigation unless you asked them to shut the power grid of that area. And the same with, you can shut the internet down and all your power. We've done investigations with nothing in that property at all. It's all shut down because it's been renovated, so everything's been shut down anyway. But you still got to worry about your neighbours, because their Wi-Fi will carry to you, so you still got to be wary of that. If it's a detached house in the middle of nowhere with no pylons, no power to, you can shut the power, and you're getting spikes and your phones are switched off. Yeah, there's no. You got to say, well, why is he setting this equipment off? Why is your EMS spiking here, or your K2 meters? And then you got to look around and think, but is it anything possible? You know, we've been to places that spiked our meters and that. We have to check round, and someone's left the phone on. Switch it off, stopped. You know, and it's any electric cables underneath where you are. Check that out. So you have to do a base reading in the area before you even start. It's in an old abandoned church. Just check around and see if there's any, you know. And then if you get spikes and everything's no phones off, blah blah blah, and then you can turn and say, "Look, I've got no explanation for this REM pod or K2 meter going off. I've got none at all. I can't explain them." Also, you've got to think that you yourself give off EMF. The actual body can give off EMF. And that's weird, because I had a spike 140 on a Trifield meter once from me. I couldn't explain it. It should never be that high. That I've been electrocuted.
You just got to say.
Everyone else held everyone else held the Trifield meter. That was running about 5 milligauss, whatever. I had it was done something, God knows, 140. That's impossible impossible, physically impossible. So one of our team members said, I think the spirit's in you at the moment, because why are you getting this super good to know? The phone's off. I've got nothing. I ain't got a pacemaker, and I've got nothing like that. I've got nothing to even think about causing that high power. And after about 2 minutes, it stopped. Could there have been a faulty tri-field meter? Possible. But at the time, I couldn't explain it. So you give off EMF. You hold the tri-field meter and hold it in your hand. You'd be surprised. Sometimes you can give off EMF from yourself. When you rub your hair like that, you get electric.
Yeah.
Or you get you're creating electric, you know. So static, I should say. So
sticking balloons to walls. Rubbing a balloon on your head and sticking it to a wall.
Or you get an electric shock. I always get, remember, you get your car and you always get an electric shock because your radio won't wired in properly. You know, you open your car.
Yeah, I've had that before.
You know, that carries when your hair stand on end.
I used to get out of the shop.
Your hair stand.
My hair doesn't stand on end. You've got to stand on end there.
Yeah.
But see, getting back to what you were saying about your bits and pieces separate. I was watching, I didn't watch it very long, I'm not going to name them, but there was a team the other night and they were doing it live and the 3 K2 meters together. And and they were saying, look, it's definitely a spirit here, you know, and they were putting, you can see their phone, they were putting their phone right next to the meters and the meters were all, you know, bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
We're proving that there is a spirit here. You know, so it's amazing how many.
No.
You know, but
I did a similar thing the other week.
You know, we used to do lives, and I'd have the K2 me and and then we've got the camera, we've got the film camera, and I've done it, and then I thought after I'd done it, I thought, what a plonker! What did I just go and do that? I just destroyed what I said in the first place, didn't I? But then that becomes a little bit entertaining. Then you think, oh, I'm an entertainer now. I'm not a real investigator. So you got the borderline between entertaining and, you know, and then investigate. If you start crossing over that border and you're an entertainer, no one will believe a word you say. When we do investigations from our lives, John's were different, completely different to what we do with lives. Some things are similar, but they don't see us to go around checking all the you know, base readings, writing everything down, temperature, make sure all the phones are switched off, the Wi-Fi switched off, you know. I've even got someone's fridge switched off, everything's switched. There's nothing to because the meters to go.
As you see,
I'm running on. Sorry.
Once you cross that line and people class it as entertainment, that's you kind of buggered. You know, because who's going to take you serious again?
Yes.
You know, they're going to start.
I think you can.
I'd be thinking, you know, well, the last one was entertainment, so what's this one?
It's all right doing it as long as you mention. I've mentioned that, you know. They said we'll have this meter on. I go, no point having the K2. Don't even use it. There's no K2 meter. Oh, well, we'll try a REM pod then. But in the back of my mind, yeah, we've got a REM pod. But I still think when that go off, could be that, is it possible the phone? Possible. They'll say no, but there's still that 3% that the phone could have set it off. You see? Mm-hmm. And so as long as you warn people to say, well, it might be my phone setting it off, not actual paranormal. But a lot of people don't do that because they want the flattening, you know, and all that. You know, so it's not how you investigate a location with a live phone. It's not your phones are often like. If I find people's phones on, I do my nut normally. You asked my name about me, mentioned about how strict I am. Honestly, I'm not a little. I tell you, I wouldn't have none of it.
Do you think
And
some
if I
teams?
find out they said, yeah,
Do you think
sorry.
some teams be dating purpose to get results? You know, leave their phone on or whatever.
Oh yeah, I know. you, I've seen many people doing it, and I'm surprised that I've seen a lot of expert TV people do it as well. It is unbelievable how bad they do these things, and I can trust me. I could set most equipment I could trigger through my phone some way or another to make it like we're getting the yes and no answers easily.
What do you think?
Because what you do, I'll tell you what the best one was that one TV company used to use is the walkie-talkie. You put walkie-talkie and press the button next to you'll get on the K2 meter, for instance, that'll go red. Switch it off, that'll go down again. You can put it happily in your pocket and just click it on and off when in demand perfectly all night long. And TV professionals, TV shows have used that one before.
So they're doing what exactly? Sorry, you're breaking up a tiny bit.
Well, you have some of these meters, you know, say for instance, the K2 meter. If you use a walkie-talkie,
right,
and you put a walkie-talkie and push that on button, you watch your meter spike.
Oh yeah,
They're the worst.
Radio signal, absolutely, yeah.
There was one,
and they'll always be on the walkie-talkie. Yeah.
There was one TV program.
And it's quite
the more the time walkie-talkies.
Yeah. Well, the crew used them. See, most TV thing when they're places they will use because they have to be in contact, whatever. So they're all using them on TV shows.
So, what do you both think about the kind of location be over investigated? Ladies first. When are you going to do?
I said a little bit about that earlier, didn't I? About the energy being drained in places and certain items and things like that. I think your energy, obviously, it doesn't just disappear, but I think it can be used, like a battery, for example. You know, once the energy's gone, it's gone. And you can overuse. If you go to a place that like hundreds of people have investigated, either the ghosts are going to be like, do you know what, I'm bloody tired, I don't want to talk to you, I'm sick of hearing your questions, or the energy has been used. Because I mean, it's just, I absolutely do think that energy can be drained and used from the places. If that was your question.
That's like saying you've got to go on up the stairs and go and get me some toilet roll. And then after about 10 times I've asked you, you're going, I've got no energy, I'm knackered.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. If you're a spirit and you've been using your energy, I think you do, that'll just, fade off. So,
we don't know how their energy works. Like I was saying with the manifestation, does it take like a certain circumstances and certain energies to be able to manifest like that? Is it the same? It would be the similar thing to be. Do they need charging up, lightning storms, or I know it sounds stupid, but does the energy have to be recharged, or does it just dissipate, or I don't know. But I definitely think that energy does get drained from places and is gone sometimes.
I think the only thing you've answered, like I've answered, things that you can have a theory on it. There's no way I know anything to do with the paranormal.
Yeah.
Even after stuff I've said, I can only say my theory of using live cameras but though I proved it many times. But that sort of thing, of energy, there's no.
There's also the energy transfer as well. If you take a haunted item, for example, every person that's touched that now has transferred some form of energy to that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how much energy can a certain item hold before it has to like can't take anymore? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I think these places are overly investigated. So like you said, you will drain. You know, there can't be nothing, no energy left. I think the only energy you'll have left is people in, you know. But then there's certain people say, well, oh, a place is like, oh, it's not very active tonight because there haven't been many people coming in and out here tonight to build the energy up. Well, I don't know. Possible, but then again,
would imply that the spirit has to feed on people's energy to do anything. But
yeah, you've get £10, 10 people round a you know, in a sitting. Let's all sit around in a circle, build the energy up, you know, or use my energy, you know. There are only theories from people that's where the energy comes from, but you know, you can go in a place and you know the energy. If you're sensitive or anything like that, you can know the energy's there because you can feel it. Your hair's stand up on end, your hair's down, and you think, where is this energy? Or you know, is energy already here? There's no one here apart from me and you know the four walls, but there's energy there. You can feel it. You know,
yeah, it oscillates. It does.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like again, the battery drain. Why would they drain your battery if they don't need energy? You know, it's an impossible question to ask, or answer, I should say. Answer, not ask, because you don't know.
Well, that's exactly right. We don't know, and that's what makes the paranormal so fascinating as well. Not just look for spirits or whatever, but all these answers. I know everybody's got their own different individual theory, and even what happens to us after we shut our eyes at this side. What happens? You open them on the other side, and what have you. But you just don't know. And again, coming back, that's why when people turn around and say, "Oh, it's all coincidence." I know I'm going back to that word again, but it's just a word that annoys me because it's no coincidence that there's that many strings to the paranormal.
You can't keep getting coincidence after coincidence after coincidence and go, oh, it's coincidence, because I don't believe in. You can't keep happening. You can get a couple of coincidences. Whoa, that's weird. That's weird. I always say. But you can't keep getting them. You know, it's too much. The odds against it, is crazy. It's the weirdest thing I've witnessed. I'll tell you the weirdest thing I've noticed. It's cold spots. That's a strange thing, because you get them in the middle of nowhere, like a zone of zone of cold air. And there's no vents, there's no windows open, and it's freezing. You're talking about a 10 Celsius drop in that specific area. And that's my dog. Right. Might be a approach. or the neighbour's car. It's that area. You walk into it freezing cold, and you walk out of it. It's that, and then you go back again, and it's freezing cold again. And you come back the other end, and you get the temperature meter and check it, and there's a massive drop between that area and the area in front and behind, sideways, all the way around. That's a circle of cold air, but there's no reason for it. It's indoors, and there's no reason for it to be there. That's the most weirdest thing I've ever witnessed.
That's happened to me.
And no explanation.
A couple of one again when we were doing Caldwell last year, in the middle of Caldwell Estate, there's a ring road. It's a road that called a circle. And one night we were there investigating, and we went for a walk, and we were going down. Now there wasn't any wind or breeze or anything. It was a calm night, and we were going down one half of the circle, and it was freezing cold. We came round the other side, and you could feel it was a lot warmer, half and half. Now, I'm not a weather expert by any means, but one half of the circle was freezing and the other half was warm. and I couldn't explain that. Same
Is
as
it-
when we went to the vaults.
Is that outside? Did you
Aye,
say
that was
outside or inside?
outside?
Yeah, because outside you can get atmospheric drops of cold air, and they can be like described. I've witnessed this outside as well. I've walked along, just hit this cold spot for no
Cold
reason.
air pockets.
But that can be, and that's just cold indoors, and the temperature's the same. There's no explanation for it because there's outside and inside. I don't think as far as I know, it's even possible because it's the weather in that, and inside you don't get. And I think that's probably caused like the orbs and things like that from dust and orbs. There's some amazing orbs that are captured, and you can't explain them. I've seen them without, in pitch black. I've actually seen them myself.
Mm-hmm.
People see orbs of balls of light, but outside they reckon that's still possible because, again, to do with the atmosphere, you get a charge of electricity. They look like balls of light that go along. They say in the, that's possible. But inside, another strange, because you got to have the atmosphere outside, didn't you, to build that up. No one cannot an explanation for inside, but
Well, last year,
strange.
what the weirdest thing I've experienced, and Laura in the chat, she experienced as well. What a girl is no longer ways. We done the Edinburgh Vaults, Nidgy South last year, and there was one particular room we were standing in, and it's going to sound weird, but it did happen. This particular spot in this one room, my right foot was freezing, and my left foot was warm. And I says to the other girl, come stand right here. And the same happened to her, and I says to Laura, come here and stand right where I'm standing. And again, the three felt her right foot was freezing, her left foot was normal. And I couldn't explain that. I don't have any, I don't
Did
have
you did you get a temperature check?
No, we never actually should have, but the other thing.
You're a naughty boy.
Sorry.
Yeah, you always. No. This is the thing. You got. I know you don't even think of it because you're shocked at what's happened. You don't think, oh, actually, I'll get a temperature check right now. Quick, get the thermometer out and quick check it, see what the difference. That's that's something that I do it all the while.
I mean,
There's a sudden drop until I want to know why. And see what the temperature difference is.
In hindsight, we should have, but it was just one of these. It was just this kind of spur of the moment thing, just one of these weird things that happened.
Yeah.
And it was
it's not. That's not a thing. It's not a naturally thing you'll think of.
No, I never thought it.
No, I've done it.
It was the same investigation where none of our cameras worked, none of our footage turned out. None at all. We had 4, maybe 5 cameras, and none of the footage turned out. And the same happened to another team who investigated there before us. I was talking to them and says, you know what? The same happened to none of our footage worked out in this one particular room.
We did 6 hours in Edinburgh Vaults, and all of our none of our audio worked.
So again, that takes it. Was that coincidence? That's 3 teams, the same locations. They've had problems with their video and audio. That can't be coincidence.
Yeah. Too many coincidences, isn't it? That's how.
That's 1, 2 cameras don't work. 5, it's.
I think it's I don't think it's a coincidence because they keep happening the same thing. It's when you spoke to people that's in the same, ghosts, whatever, and you get 6 or 7 people describe the same thing, which gives it more, validates them more of, it's actually a ghost there. That's the important thing, and validating everything. So, it's important to validate everything. So someone saying, you get several. You don't want to hear it from one person in the pub, for instance, saw a ghost, and they say to their friend, "Oh, I saw a ghost, a lady standing over there." "Oh, did you?" And then they'll come up with the story later on. So it's got to come out from people who don't know each other, even more validated, because if there's different people validates the same thing they saw at that same location, and they don't know each other, then it's like, whoa, that gets interesting. Because saying, like this hairdressers I know that kept seeing the shadow figures, same roughly down the corridor. I keep, and they said, "Oh, if you start talking amongst your staff, talking to each other, that then puts it in their head that there's a shadow figure down there." So there's a good chance that might come across the scene. But if you're free, like you said, like 3 teams, you said saying the same similar thing, until you spoke to each other, went, "Oh, that happened to me." "I did it." "No, did it really?" "Yeah, in the same area," and that validates that there's something going on that shouldn't be happening. The same.
I think it was 5 years there, Laura, Kelly, and we all heard this word. I was in the same room as us, and there was somebody says, it was a male voice says, "Why?" One word, just "why." Everybody heard it at the same time, and we all looked at the same through the room, just one "why," and we all turned round at the same time. And we were and there was nobody else down there except us. And so we obviously
they're the most amazing experience, because not only say you've heard it, the rest of them have heard it, and you quite hear clearly, loud as anything. We've heard whistles, and we all witnessed a whistle, and we're like, where did that come from? But the thing is, you never pinpoint exactly where. This is the other thing you say. You never knocks and voices, and you can never really pinpoint exactly the position, which is interesting, because that then says to me that it's in the atmosphere. It's not actually coming from a specific, specific area. Because with our whistles, one end of the thing, and we're done beyond the other end, voices.
It's
but
funny
never
you say that, Tim.
Can never pinpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were investigating the Royal Arcade a few months ago. We had Robbie from Haunted Scotland with us, and we all heard with our ears, and it is caught on camera, a voice going, "Alison," and then it went, "Alison," so it said Alison quietly, and then it shouted Alison a few seconds later, and we all heard it with our ears. But everyone you ask, you say, "Well, I thought it came from there." They're like, I thought it came from down the hall." He was like, "But I thought it came from behind me, So a similar thing. We all heard it, and it is caught on the camera, but no one actually knows where it was, except for that it was closed.
Where?
Yeah.
No, I know. It's the most freaky thing. It's like when we got the knocks, we've had response from knocks, yes and no. And we even had a blooming Andrew had a doctor's what's it called? What they call
scope? Stethoscope.
Stethoscope. Yeah. So I can't hear what you're saying because I've got these on. my partner, that is, not you. And yeah, and he was putting it on the wall. You use them for the walls, just hear things. Say if there's something like a rat stuck in the wall, you better.
Yeah.
So you know it's a rat making the noise, not so yeah, one of them, and we're putting that on there. And it sounded that it was coming from that Pacific wall, but as soon as you go over there, that's over there, that's over there.
Oh. Yeah.
And it's been a long time, these experiences, and I just think it's in the atmosphere. I think you can hear them, but they're just there. If you know what I mean, it's weird. It's like it's all around you, you know, and that's why you will hear from different positions. I had a whistle down there. Well, no, I came from over there. I swear.
Yeah.
I came from there. We all together.
We've had that so many times.
Normally, if someone kicked bang, if someone banged something down that end, you'd hear it. You'd all go, "There's a bang down there. Did you hear it?" Yeah. But when they seem to do things, they seem the same bang will be the other. Oh, that's come from the other direction. But that's when you hear them all different, multi directions. So that's telling me that's the atmosphere. So spirits probably are just in the atmosphere, just in that zone.
Do you think it's possible that a spirit can single an individual out so that they're the only one that hears them? I'll tell you why I'm asking. It's happened to me a couple of times. Last year I was shown this place we were investigating. We brought another team in to try and validate, even though we had validation on it. They're going to bring another team in and let them do their thing in it. So before they started, I took them down into the basement. It was a vaulted basement, and there was 4 of them and myself. I was standing in this room, and I heard a woman, a raspy, coarse, was saying, "Why?" And I immediately turned round to them and, "Did you hear it?" Not one of them heard it. But I heard it quite as if we was in the same room. And I mean, I'm no BSing because I had nothing to gain with making up a sod all, but I says, "Did you not hear that?" I says, "We never heard a thing." But it was just
I think that's possible. Yeah. I think if the voice comes through, like I say, the atmosphere, and you're in the right zone, I think you know it could be just you heard no one else. That's happened a few times. Yeah, when one person's heard something, I think the only thing, unfortunately, it doesn't validate so much what you witnessed. I'm not saying you didn't hear it, because you did, but it doesn't validate as much as all people hear the same thing at the same time. It just, like people getting marked. I've had someone touch me down the side of me face when I was having a pee, and when I come out, and I think I felt a burning sensation down my neck, but it tickled. And I went and just laughed, and I said, "All right, okay." And I straight away I thought that must be a spider or something's crawled down there. And I thought, there must be something wrong. So as soon as I went for John for a pill, I came straight out to the team and said, "Is there anything in my neck?" Like, I was thinking spider or whatever. Oh my God! And there's a big red mark or scratch going right down my neck, under my ear, all the way down. And that's not so I've gone like that and scratched it myself. I think that was a real red. I've got a picture. It's really red scratch mark. And the thing is, it didn't feel like a scratch. Didn't feel like a scratch. It felt like a tickle. Something really gently just tickling like that. But left a massive red mark on my neck, which was weird.
But it's it's a word that, why did it happen to me? Oh, my head.
Yep, you're frozen and your headphones come off.
Something's happened.
Oh, it's muted. You've muted yourself.
What were you, Nadine? Well, we're waiting Tim come in. What were you? Have you had that happen to you?
Well, I think that also you've got bear in mind that some people are a lot more sensitive than other people. And some people do hear things and other people don't. And some people see things and people don't see things. You know, and not just that, I think that like you've seen, for example, you've seen on my videos where I've answered questions to spirits or something like that, thinking it's came through one of the devices. When we've watched it back, they haven't said anything, but I know I heard, you know, the question or the answer or whatever it was they were saying to me. I heard it with my own ears, but no one else did. So whether it's the fact that I'm a little bit more sensitive or I was in closer range to the spirit, or whether they did single me out, you know, we're never going to know. But there's two probabilities there easily, that you were closer to the spirit or that you were more sensitive to the spirit.
It's the same as I call her the whispering lady for last year. I was there was 5 years there, about 6 years there. Everybody else heard this sharp and take a breath. They heard this several times, but I never heard the breath once, but everybody else heard it. But I heard the whispering lady speaking right next to me. And the thing was, how you describe it, I was talking about it the other night in the live. I reacted to the voice, the whispering lady, and they reacted to the intake of breath at the exact same time. So I assumed everybody else had heard this.
So they heard it as a breath and you heard it as a voice.
And it was just after it that we realized, and I said this away to, you know, Jim Martin, and they says that voice is right next to you. That's not through the app. And but it was after it that the rest of the team, they're like, what voice? It's just a whisper. So we had to take a breath. I said, what? Take a breath. So we heard at the exact same second two
different things.
And as we've got on camera, it's something, I think it's something on YouTube and Facebook. We're all reacting, but to do different things.
Yeah.
And so that kind of puzzled me. Well, why was I the only one that heard that voice? But when you play it back, you can quite clearly hear, you know, that this lady whispering. So why was I the only one at the time that heard the voice and everybody else heard something different? And I can't figure that one out. Is Tim back ways? Is he?
I'm not sure. He's frozen.
He's really either good at sitting still or he's frozen again.
I think he's frozen.
So I mean that's something else that I couldn't work out. But since Tim seems to be having problems, I think we'll wind it up there.
Right.
We're only going to run for an hour, but we're over our time. But you know, you got your time you over it. Yeah. I'm not driving. But I'll keep a hold of you anyway, don't have to come off. And we'll keep him there frozen just now.
We'll keep this lovely picture of Tim right here.
A lovely shine to that side of his face, don't you think?
Yes.
No,
good lighting.
News of it all together. So
no, yeah. It's gone.
So that kind of ends that one. So we'll wind it up there. Don't go anywhere, Nadine. So thanks everybody for coming in. We apologise for the slight internet issues. You know, these happen. So that's us. We're back on Saturday night at 9 o'clock with Lone Wolf Paranormal. And then Sunday, we're away on our first road trip of 2022. Woohoo! This Tim coming back as we're going out.
Yeah.
This is the other reason I enjoy a live, because you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes it goes well.
Hello.
Sometimes it just goes up in the air. Can
you hear me?
We can hear you now, but we're just winding it up. So don't you just don't touch anything.
You winding me up? What do you mean you winding me up?
No, we're winding the show up.
Hey, Hook.
Oh yeah, that went over our heads. Sorry.
We're winding the show up there, but I'll keep a hold of you anyway, Tim. All right.
I had the really important thing to say then.
Well,
Go on
then. Don't let me stop.
I was nice being on your show. Thank you.
Oh.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's sweet. Shut up, Scott.
Thanks very much, Tim. It's very much appreciated. You know, no,
That's all right, mate.
it's always good to have you in. I think you get guests on. You know, we've had fantastic guests on there since we started, but you get.
Oh, thank you.
I wouldn't talk with you. But
I'm sorry I couldn't see people's messages. I'll just say thank you for joining.
all right, I think
don't-
that's it. Thank you to me.
I don't say thank you people for joining because I couldn't see. I think I saw Jacqueline and a couple of others, but I couldn't see who was watching or anything because I don't personally think.
No, don't.
Don't.
I've had a couple of guests disappear on me before. No, seriously, one was Wayne Miles, a good friend of yours from London, and we were talking away, and he just vanished. And it was one of these scenarios that it took me a couple of seconds to realise that I was on the panel myself.
I've been removed off my own bloody show.
That happened to me. I get kicked.
Yeah, I couldn't get back on.
I think it was Sarah kicked me out or something.
Yeah.
Kicked me out the panel.
I was supposed to host the show and I couldn't get back on again.
Last year we had CRA Entertainment on, Craig Aarons and David Espinosa and what have you, and my chair broke and I headed south, not to England, got me to the flare.
Who ate all the pies? Who said that?
No, it was a faulty bracket.
Yeah, okay.
But
That's
on
not
the
what
way
you-
down,
That's not what your other half said.
I'm still on the day. Actually, the chair broke of its own accord. On the
Get
way
any
down.
You get any skinnier, I won't better see you.
Oh, thank you very much.
See?
But anyway, on the way down, my foot hit the camera wire and popped the camera out. So CRA were all sitting up in the panel themselves, and it seemed like an eternity till I could get
Oh,
back
oof.
on. And when we watched it back, but I wasn't at that time, Tim, it was another time. You remember that one when I went?
Oh, was it another time? Was it? How many chairs you had?
No, the first
Oh.
time was a chair, it was a table.
Oh,
First time was a table. But when we watched it back, and you see me sitting, and then I just kind of go, woof, away. And Craig Arms was sitting, well, I think we were doing the show ourselves. The first time, what happened the first time was the table never broke. I was laughing that much and I leaned over and I realised there was nothing except thin air beside me. And
I'm not
you know,
laughing.
your body starts to go and you can't stop it.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, nightmare.
Aye.
You know what's going to happen, but you can't do nothing about it.
You know you're heading for that floor. And there's
You know
nothing-
we're still live, right?
Oh, here we are.
This is what goes on after the show.
They're all
guys.
waiting now for the chair, something to collapse or something, aren't they? They're all,
Oh, I'm on the
come
couch.
on,
See
don't
what's
bounce
so much-
about. Do you start moving around?
Sarah stole my chair. I've got the couch. That's how I looks to me.
I'll just let you know we've got side bets going here if it's going to happen again.
No, it's happened twice, and it's never.
You're 2-1 for the next week, apparently, to fall
I'm-
off your chair.
Well, see if I fall off of this couch, I'm in trouble because this is a three-seater couch, and I'm sitting right in the middle of it. So if I fall off,
Just-
the couch, it's quite bad.
One of those deck chairs, isn't it?
When it kind of goes like that, bang,
Boom.
I forgot we were still live. I do apologise, people. I'd done that before last year. Our first Halloween special we done, and it turned out it was a brilliant night.
It was certainly a special then.
It was. We were on dressed up and stuff, and I thought we were off alive, and I started, swearing and stuff as you do sometimes. And then, for some reason, I noticed the comments were still coming up on the screen. And I'm like, why are the comments coming up on the screen? And then I seen the the wee red square up in the corner saying live. I was like, are we still live? You know, and I'd be swearing like a trooper, basically. But we'll cut it there just now. I'll keep used to for a minute or 10 after it. So thanks everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed the wee extra bit. I forgot we were live, but however, this is what makes it fun. So
I've been the extras.
The blooper. We call that the
bloopers.
Yeah, the blooper reel.
We're still live, are we?
Yes.
We'll call it. That's
Well, it's like, do you know, like Big Brother's Little Brother? That's what this was. You know,
Oh, right.
the show after the show.
It's one of those ones where you think the movie's over in the cinema, you walk out, you find out you missed the best bit, and in the end,
Easter egg at the end.
Yeah.
You missed a reel or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's it for tonight, people. Thanks, Laura Dog. So thanks to Tim and thanks to Nadine. Tonight it didn't turn into the Nadine show, thankfully.
No. And
No,
thank you
for
very
what?
much for having me, Scott and Tim.
Always a pleasure. And we'll see you again Saturday night, people. So till then, as they say in the TV, till then, take care and blah, 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 blah.
Bye.
Blah. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.